Now, looking at questions, especially questions that I want to actually answer on camera, I'm looking for questions that will bring value to a wide audience. So if I have all CNC machinists and somebody asks me a machining question, I know that's pretty difficult, then I know I'm going to bring value to a whole group of people. But if it's very individual and niche and it's not going to touch a lot of people, I might just pass that one to go to a question that will bring crazy value, all right? So today we actually selected some, so let's get into it. So the first question is a straight up machining question on the high level, and this is gonna bring crazy value. So I got it written up over here. So Gerard A. Holt, 8778. If you look in the comments from last Friday, you'll see it right there. So Gerard is actually saying, hey, we're machining super duplex stainless, and we're having no luck with tool life. We're running at 150 service foot. Any ideas would be appreciated. So there's nothing worse than actually taking a job, looking at it, quoting it, getting the material in. You go through the process and you're just breaking tools and breaking tools. And that means you're losing money. When it comes to super duplex, it is a hard material. And there's a lot of different things that you have to think about. Like we say variables in CNC machining that you need to think about. Now, one is, what type of tool are you using? What type of coolant are you using? How's it being held? How's the rigidity? What type of spindle do you have? All of these variables all matter. So you want to make sure that you attack each one. When you're machining difficult materials, let's get the tool up. Sometimes we actually EDM the ending of the end mill because some of these tooling companies don't think about it. On a standard tool holder, the flutes will be over here and you'll have all this wasted carbide right here, which makes the tool hang out too much and causes deflection and chatter and weakens the tool. You have to look at all the different variables. Now there's technique also. So when milling duplex, you just have to make sure, just kind of like take a common sense approach. And if I have a tool coming in, let's take the smallest angle where I can go from outside the material into the material gradually before I get my good cut. So I say it kind of like, if you're gonna jump into the water, let's walk down the beach, not jump off the dock. Let's not put too much pressure on that tool. Now for me, a lot of people know that Kennametal is one of our partners, but they weren't always a partner. When I used to do SpaceX work, one time I had this crazy job and the same thing happened to me. 30 minutes, 20 minutes, end mills breaking, end mills breaking. I'm talking to all these tooling companies. They're giving me speeds and feeds. I'm using their speeds and feeds in this hardened 718 that's been solution hardened. I mean, this thing is nasty. You just look at the color, just brown and grungy, just nasty stuff. Every end mill's coming in and it's just breaking, breaking, breaking. And then all of a sudden, I stepped up to the Harvey end mills from Kennametal and got 7 hours of tool life and learned that this tool, the Harvey tool, actually competed against everyone out there and won the Boeing challenge to get huge contracts. So I grabbed this tool, I put it in, same speeds and feeds. It lasted for 7 hours. And then I learned that I could actually push it faster. I could do different techniques to actually get my part time down. So Gerard, one of the things I would love to know is, what tool are you actually using? How deep are you going? If you're full slotting or you're doing radial, just a little information would actually be super helpful. Now, let's go TE. Now we have a superior tool with superior geometry. You got a crazy coating. It's made for duplex. It's made for titanium. It's made for Monel and Inconel. And it's made to just eat. Now the TE, compared to like a Harvey 3 would be a 6-flute tool. The TE is a 4-flute tool. And the TE can actually ramp right into material at a 45 degrees. because of the tool, because we have a great holder, it's stubbed up in the holder, because we have rigidity in our material, because we've looked at our coolant, we don't have it at 7% anymore. We have it up at like a 12% for super alloys or hard materials, because all the variables have been checked. If I'm actually in a full slot mode and I'm actually taking a tool, like say a 3/4 tool, and I'm gonna full slot it, like come right down and go straight into the material. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna actually come in, I'll be machining at 225 surface foot, and then I'll be at 0.002 inches per tooth. So that's the numbers right there, 225. That's already, it's a full slot, and it's already 75 surface foot more than what you're currently doing. And we're gonna come straight in. When I hit the material, I'm gonna be at half speed. So I'm gonna slow it down. So I'm gonna slow it down coming in, but as soon as I get the full radial, then I'm just gonna go, all right? Now that's a full slot. If I'm actually gonna drop down, I'm gonna actually profile. I'm gonna use the side of the tool. What I wanna do is, I wanna have the tool as stubby as possible. I wanna use the top flutes, so I wanna put the tool as deep as possible to take the deepest radial, so I'm using all of the tool, and therefore I have no flex, I just have rigidity, all right? Now on a 10% radial, so when I do Inconel titanium, a lot of times I'm at a 10% radial, but I'm full depth on the Z. Might be 1.5 or 2 inches deep in Z, but 10% radial. Now guess what? I'm actually up at 375 surface foot. So you're at 150, I'm up at 375 because I've checked all the boxes for all the different variables. My tool is crazy rigid, my coolant is great, my work holding is great. Everything is pristine. I've dropped the tool all the way down so it is locked in. And because of the 10% step over, I can go from the 225 surface foot up to the 375 surface foot because it's 10%, okay? And my chip load now is 0.004, so it's twice as much. And you're gonna see you will have success because of the tool and the technique involved and having the right speeds and feeds. Now, if I actually want a 20% step over or a 30% step over, I'm just gonna back off on my numbers because I'll have more pressure on that tool. So if I'm going like 20% or 30%, I might go down to like a 275, 280 surface foot, and then maybe go to a 3,000 chip load. But you see, it's just a game. You just have to play the numbers based on the cut, based on hearing, based on the chips, based on all the variables. Now, a lot of people say, Titan, I see you machining Inconel and titanium, and how did you actually learn to machine all of these different super alloys and crazy materials? The truth is, there's a day where I didn't know how to machine any of that stuff. I just ran super fast in aluminum and made aluminum my thing. I can machine aluminum, crazy parts, medical parts, all kinds of different manifolds and stuff faster than anybody else can. I sold myself to the customers and made it happen. But when I jumped into the subsea industry, I went over there and I said, you know what, I want to run the most difficult parts because then I'm finding a niche, I can charge more money. So I attacked that and literally had to go on Google and figure out how do you machine titanium. But guess what? Nobody's just there telling you how to machine it. You have to look at the tool. You got to ask questions. You got to look at the tool numbers. Like any company, like Kennametal, OSG, whoever, they're going to give you a tool, and then they're going to give you the data to support that tool. And they're going to give you the service foot, the chip load, whatever you need for that tool. But they're going to be conservative because they don't want to see you break tools. They don't want to see you coming up empty. They want to see you have success. So a lot of that is conservative. So I always ask, okay, what is the service foot? What is the chip load? What is the step over, the depth? I'll ask these questions, but then I use my common sense based on experience and based on timing, cut, and what I've experienced to just push it a little bit more. A little bit more. Hey, this is a super rigid setup. Maybe I can push it a little bit more. And over time, I just get the experience in all the different materials. Now, as you get experience in all the different materials, keep a book, keep a log. Make it so you have like Inconel, this is this section. Titanium, 6L4V, this is this section. Monel, K500, 400, this is this section. Super Duplex, 2507, whatever. This is this section. carbon fiber, aluminum. And every time you run parts, document how fast you ran them, what tool, this and this, how long, what was the tool life, and start documenting it and study it and study it and study it and add to it. And over time, you will become an expert. And experts in this game that can run crazy materials make crazy money. You gotta be able to sell yourself, decrease times, and take your companies to the highest level. And guess what? I have like other questions to ask, but nobody wants to watch an hour-long video. So I'm gonna just stop right here with that one question, but that was a huge amount of knowledge. And that is stuff that you can take to the bank that'll help you be a greater machinist and make money in this trade. So Gerard, I just dedicated this whole video to you, man. So thank you very much for putting that comments. Everybody else, put comments, hard comments, comments that I should not be able to answer, and we will figure it out together so we can all learn and rise together. Remember, watch the video through. A lot of people say, Titan, I love when you do the teaching videos. I love when you just give knowledge and just drop knowledge. But if you guys don't actually watch the videos, YouTube will be like, you know what, there's not enough people that like this video, so they'll actually keep the video low. And then other machining videos or other videos, they'll push those up high, and it makes it hard for us to keep doing videos that don't perform. So if you love this type of video, you want to take your knowledge to the highest level, watch the video to the end, subscribe, and let's take this journey together, baby. 2026, boom!